Today, I have a great honor to invite the Vice President of International Business Development, Mr. Andy Perkins of Vistage International, to be our guest speaker. 今天呢，请了我们这个戴小学博士我叫他戴老师来为我们讲一下这个为您的演讲瘦身这么一个。今天呢，我们请这个可以说是职场大咖前这个 GE 中国区的副总裁，也是 GE 中国创新中心的总经理老嘉宁先生。各位直播间的朋友们，晚上好市董会或者韦斯达市董会讲这个专题呢一定要请出叫做韦斯达市董会在中国的这个鼻祖张伟俊老师。Hello, friends in the live stream chat room. Today we have an English language session, which is different from previous sessions. Our guest today is Mr. James Warner. He is a veteran leadership expert. He was head of PDI China. Now it's James. 各位直播间的朋友们晚上好。今天呢，我们请来的是我著名学者许继林教授。今天我们讨论的主要是请许继林教授来讲一讲他的一本进著，叫做《脉动中国》那么今天呢，我们请来一位领导力大咖。那么最近呢，他出了一本书深度领导力，让这个我们的今天的嘉宾陈伟，我一直叫他威又到了我们直播间的时间。那么今天呢，我们请来了一位 HR 领域的大咖今天的我们的嘉宾 Kevin， 我叫他 Kevin， 康约为过那么今天呢，我们讲一个略微特殊的话题叫做如何用设计思维来引领未来，寻找企业第二增长曲线。我们请来的嘉宾呢是这个英文叫阿林陶陶爱玲她是这个全球顶尖的设计创新各位直播间的朋友们晚上好今天呢，我们请来了这个以前GE 中国区的副总裁许正老师。那么今天呢，我们请来了大中华区教练业务的一个开拓者 Marjorie Wu
Today's event is the journey of career and business transformation. It is co-sponsored by ATTA, which is Asia Transformation and Turnaround Association, and the Taplow Group Consulting and PTL Group, which is a management and operations service provider for international firms. My name is T.T. Chang. I am the operating partner of Taplow Group Consulting, and also I'm the Shanghai chapter lead for ATTA. Now, during the past few years, through the trade war, tech war, and the COVID-19 pandemic, there are significant changes and challenges for global economy, business, and professionals. And of course, the same goes for China. Tonight, we have several guests, actually 4 guests, who will share their journeys of transformation over the past few years or a couple decades. Hope you enjoy their journeys of transformation and have some lessons learned for potentially your own future journeys of transformation. Since this roundtable event is about career and business transformation, I'll keep my introduction short and let the speakers introduce themselves in more details. We will have about 50 minutes of presentation. We'll leave about 40 minutes for Q&A. Now, my background is straightforward. I have been in China, Asia for the last 28 years. And the first 14 years is with corporate. And for the past 15 years, I work mostly as professional interim GM or acting general manager, as well as executive coach. That's what I'll do with my introduction. Now, let me introduce Sheldon. Sheldon and I went back 28 years since I first came back to China and Asia. Sheldon was my first HR and Finance Director at Avery Dennison, China. 14 years later, I joined Sheldon's Taplow Consulting Group as operating partner. How does our career change, right? Now, Taplow's business model have shifted from recruiting and training to coaching and leadership, from NMC focus to private enterprise focus, and from offline to online. Sheldon, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, TT. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheldon Zhou. I basically have a career in several stages. TT, can you move to the next page? Yeah. Basically, this is my career path. Firstly, I was an academic. I taught at the Shanghai University Finance and Economics and Fudan University. That was back to 1990, early 1990, late 1980 to early 1990. And then I moved to corporate. I was in a corporate executive role at Avery Dennison. And later on, I moved to Moore Corporation, which now is part of ATTA. Then I moved to consulting again, back to consulting in the early 2000. I was in the executive search business. I worked with Amrock Heaver as chief representative. And then about 19 years ago, I launched my own business. And over the last 19 years, my business has basically transformed itself from executive search training focus to, as TT mentioned, to leadership consulting focus, from offline, focused business now to more like online business. This is my role for leadership consulting. I also work as Vistage chair for two Vistage groups. One is CEO group, one is key executive group. And sideline, I also work for two nonprofit organizations. One is Central Academy, which is business leaders readers club. Has been in existence for 10 years. Another is a charity business, a charity organization, which is Chen Shuishou Charity Fund. A charity fund covers the charity activities for remote areas, for children welfare. So that's basically my career. And what I like to share more is about unique development. Taplow business, as I mentioned earlier, was basically offline business first. Focus on executive training and executive recruiting. And now, especially since the early last year, with pandemic, spreading all over China and of course globally, and we, basically focus more on online activities. We have since early last year, we kicked off one of the interesting things is that we initiate leadership live stream talks. We have over the last 1.5 years, we almost had more than 60 live talks covering general management and organization development, digital transformation, and leadership development, career development, and something additional is liberal arts. And those talks so far have been well received by our audience. So our contents have been rebroadcast by about 400 new media channels throughout China. So in this case, we have transformed our business, Taplow leadership, from offline focused business now is a new media marketing driven leadership development service. As a platform, we basically provide our clients with one-to-one and team coaching, tailored leadership training and assessment. So that's about me and multi-role career. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Interesting career change. Next one is Adam. Adam Chu is currently the MD of Terminix China. I was Adam's executive coach 9 years ago when he was with the Associated British Food, so agricultural division, and stayed involved with him over the years and saw how he evolves as a business executive. Here's Adam to share his story with us. Adam?
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. My name's Adam Choi. I have a quite, I would say, unique career path because I jumped from one industry to another. Unlike many other people who, stay in the same industry for 15, 20 years. I started my career at Sinopac. That's a state-owned company. And then I went to the United States for my MBA. I came back and joined Bain as a management consultant. And then after 2 years, I went to Lenovo Group and joined their team to really open up the consumer business in North America. After 2 years, then I came back to Shanghai. I joined a British company. I started with their China BD director position. And then 3 years later, I took over the agriculture business, become the MD. I stayed in ABF for 11 years. And then 2.5 years ago, I joined an American company. This time it's a service industry, very niche business, pest control. So the China entry strategy based on acquisitions and industry consolidations. It has been quite busy, challenging, but rewarding journey so far. So we have almost, I think, doubled the business in 2.5 years. And within this year, we also introduced private equity to be the major investor for the China business, together with the U.S. parent company. So this is another chapter in my career life. So from a really corporate executive to almost like an entrepreneur. So very much looking forward to the new journey, and happy to share my experience and my knowledge with everyone. Thank you.
Adam, thank you. We'll have more questions for you later. I was coaching her boss, the North Asia head of Royal Caribbean Cruises in 2014 and stayed in touch. So when the COVID-19 pandemic started, I was wondering how Laura coped with her career choices. So here is Laura to share her career transformation choices. Here you are, Laura.
Okay, thank you, TT. It is my pleasure to be here to share with you about my career journey. And TT used to be a senior coach of one of our executives in the past companies. So I'm happy to support TT and his colleagues here, and sharing some of my story and see what you can get from my experience, so that we can be mutually helpful. So my career started from 1993. So I was graduated from university in that year. After working as an English teacher for half a year, I joined Unilever as the HR supervisor. I worked for Unilever for around 4 years, and then I was recommended by a searching firm, and I joined Microsoft. So when I joined Microsoft, there was only 10 employees in Shanghai. And after 7.5 years, when I left Microsoft, we have already around 600 in Greater China region. So my role started from HR specialist, and then I became the HR manager for the whole East and South China region. And then later on, my role became the HR business partner for a very important business groups in Greater China region. And then I joined the Non-Limited as the head of HR for the company. So the Non-Limited is a company who run the World of Warcraft online gaming at that moment. So later on, I joined Nielsen as the Chief HR Officer for Greater China region. And during those 5 years in Nielsen, I went to US and worked there for 1 year. The main purpose was to accompany my daughter to study in the private high school in US. And later on, I returned to China and I looked for a job and became the HR director for the real estate consulting firm, Cushman & Wakefield. It is also a very famous real estate company, kind of a consulting company in United States. And from the end of 2014 to last year, to May last year, I worked for Royal Caribbean Cruises. So as everyone know that what happened last year, right? So I divided my career into two parts. One is to learn and experience all the parts of HR. So I prepared myself ready and take more challenges in the HR world. So that picture was taken in year 2000, so which is around 20 years ago, and with the younger version of Bill Gates. At that moment, he was probably 44. And since 2005, all of my career was in the kind of mood that I was hired above the existing head of HR for the company, and then help the company to do the change management, to transform the company, and then helping the company turn around business or break through, and the company can have very high growth. So for example, in Nielsen, within the 3 years, within the first 3 years, when I work for Greater China region, we have supported the company double the business within 3 years. And in Royal Caribbean, when I joined in early 2015, late 2014, there was only one ship in China. And last year, before the pandemic started, we have already 4 to 5 ships in China. So the business grew quickly, and the workforce of the company also expanded very quickly. So in last Q1, everyone knows that once the pandemic started, there's a lot of things happen. So all of the time, there was chaos, stress, anxiety, depression happened. Sorry, I pronounced this wrongly. And after handle the first round of layoff in April, there was a question for me at that moment as well. As one of the member of the senior executive team, so we were given the choice of getting some pay cut on the base salary and to stay. And the other is that to take the severance and to leave. Because of all of the things happened in that period, I was thinking whether I want to stay or leave. So let me share with you my thinking steps. Last April, I thought of the pandemic, and I asked myself, when will this pandemic end? And some of the colleagues told me that it will end very soon. So let's stay and take some pay cut and let's stay once the pandemic is over and we can get our salary back. So the majority of the employees, I mean the leadership team, they choose to take pay cut and stay. For me, I think the pandemic won't end until at least after 1 year. And in that case, I think the cruises won't sail until at least 1 year later. As a consequence, the company won't make money until at least 1 year later. And to me, that would mean that looking at the personal finance, so there will be no bonus for year 2020 or even 2021. And the stock will be sucks, right? And we are going to get pay cut. So this is from the financial perspective. On the other side, that for the job content, so for me, I can assume or forecast that all job left to HR will be continued to lay off people. So last April, I asked myself, is this the life that I want? Am I going to live in such mood within the next 1 or 2 years? So at my age of time, the answer to me was very clear. No, I don't want to live in that kind of status or mood, because I'm used to live in a company that with the promising future and the fast growth, and I help the team, help the company, help the group to make the company better. So I decided to leave. And then last year, I set up my own company. I have been in HR professional area for almost 30 years. I have a lot of learning and also sharing. So I started up my own consulting firm, taking HR projects for the local companies. And I see a lot of opportunities for the Chinese local entrepreneurs. They wanted to reform their HR organization, and also they want to run their organization in a more stable way. And during that time, so from last year to end of last year, so around half a year, I supported a few companies. So later on, I decided to join one of my clients. So this is a Chinese local IT company. They have the digital marketing cloud. So this is an entrepreneurship company. They have run a business in China for 6 years. And then I became their vice president for HR, admin, and IT infrastructure. So that's my story shared with you. So in conclusion, that my personal case share with you, I want to say that life is about choices, and we are also making career choices. So we should be aware of our advantages, and then our advantage will make us to see which is the best choice for ourselves. So anyhow, we want to live the life that we want. So I'm in the currently I have been working for Convert Lab for a year now. So I'm happy with my choice. So hopefully that my personal sharing will benefit you as well. Okay.
Thank you, Laura. Can you exit the sharing so I can
Yes.
read the different PowerPoint?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Now, Peng Peng is the general manager of advanced dicing technologies. I knew Peng from meetings in the American Chamber of Commerce, Shanghai. Kept in touch for at least, let's say, the past 15 years. Peng recently joined ADT in semiconductor-related industries. ADT is owned by a Chinese consortium, and most of the manufacturing is done in Israel. Here's Peng to share his journey of career transformation with us. Peng?
Okay. Okay.
Floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, TT, and thank you for everyone to attending this event. My journey is a little bit different from most of you here. My first job was actually in forensic medicine. I was a doctor of forensic medicine in China Ministry of Justice for about 8 to 9 years. And then I went to UK also as a doctor of forensic medicine in Dundee University in Scotland for 2 years. And my third job was totally different. I became a general manager of a multinational company, Oxford Instruments, which is with the head office in England. But I was in charge of China business, became China general manager in 1999, the end of last century. And then after about 12 years, I joined a Swiss company. It's called Sonova. It's the biggest hearing aid company in the world. And I was also the China general manager. So this is my second management jobs. And then Oxford Instruments headhunted me back because it looks like my successor was not doing a good job, so they want me to come back. So I rejoined Oxford Instruments again, also as a China general manager, but at the last 3 years, I also managed India. So I managed both China and India. Also, the business was very good. After totally 20 years in Oxford Instruments, early this year, I decided to join a Chinese company called ATTA. It's called the full name is Advanced Dicing Technologies. It was previously a Israeli company, but acquired by a Chinese public company based in Zhengzhou. I became the general manager globally for this ADT with many most of my staff are overseas. And so I have two big jumps. First is from forensic medicine to China general manager for a multinational company. Second one is from multinational company to a Chinese company. But the Chinese company also is a multinational company. So this is the big jumps for me from one field to another. So I experienced in Chinese and government system to foreign companies and the Chinese companies. My current company is called ATTA. I have just want to give you a brief introduction. It's in semiconductor industry, and with the worldwide offices. Have majority of my working force is in Israel near Haifa, and I also have 2 branch offices in United States, and 1 in Taiwan, and some people in Philippines. That is my introduction. And thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
TT.
Thank you, Peng. Let's see if I can get out of the okay Q&A session. Do I leave anything on in the center, or should I just leave the screen over there? Okay. So my first question is for Sheldon. When do you know that your weekly online session is going to be really successful? And what is your future plan for Taplow Group Consulting's online business? Sheldon?
Yeah, thank you, TT. To be very honest, actually we were prepared to be, putting ourselves online for promotion purposes in the very beginning. Given the reality that the pandemic was ranging, and we could not do any business development offline. So in that circumstances, we have to move to online. And we did not know in the very beginning, but we just keep trying. In the very beginning, we launched several online training programs. Later on, we moved to live stream talks. It turned out to be the case that live stream talks attract kind of constant attention from our audience. So in about half a year, we saw that our online events with our online events became kind of quite successful, given the feedback from our audience. And on the business front, some clients, they call us, through watching our online talks, they have the confidence, or they have initial trust in our capabilities to deliver the quality leadership consulting service to them. So that was about in a half-year time frame. As for the next stage, we are still in the process of exploring our business model. At this moment, we still have kept the online live stream talks going, but basically it's not the profit generating business, or the form of profit generating business form. We are looking forward to the one day we can leverage our online activities to provide more value-added service to our target clients or audience. So we are still in the process of exploring further.
Sheldon, you're very modest because you're getting the referrals. You don't have to do a PD now, right?
Yeah.
The next question is, Sheldon, how do you invite your guests? How do you know the guest is going to be, accepted by your current audience?
many guests we have been my personal friends for quite a long time, right? And we have invited many speakers to deliver what they really good at. Basically, in the very beginning, we, just look at the my personal network. But we also kind of perceive, right, what type of contents are really welcome by our audience. That's, I would say, more kind of like trial and error process. But fortunately, most of our sessions were quite welcomed by our audience.
One other question. What is your advice to other consulting firms who wants to transform their business with stronger online presence?
Yeah, as we all know that, to get yourself for digital transformation is the trend, right? You have to do digital marketing. But the key is, can you leverage the resources that you have, right? And to provide something, unique to your audience or to your potential, customers. So that's the question of, chicken egg. But why don't you start trying? That's my advice.
Thank you. Question for Adam. Adam, now, what is the most challenging or interesting part of running Terminix, which is 10 or 12 JV partners who are majority owners?
Yeah. The Terminix China entry strategy is, again, probably quite unique. We bought actually a minority stake in the 10 subsidiary companies at first. So the arrangement is we buy 30% and say after 2 years we'll buy up to controlling stake, and then another 2 years later we'll buy 100%. But the catch, is for the second and the third purchase, the American parent company has the option to do it, but not commitment. So you can see that for me, my biggest challenge is I cannot provide a definite future for those local company owners. So it's kind of like, we're not sure whether we'll eventually get married, and they know it's actually it's not my decision. It's not my call. It's not even the call of my boss. Probably 300 different things may happen during the 2 years, and so you have to convince people still to do the right things, and still strive for great performance. Although you cannot provide a definite future, a joint vision to them. So that is the most challenging part of my job.
Well, Adam, I have some cynical thoughts on this, because you're saying at 30% ownership, it's not marriage. So that's 同居, 然后when you have over 50% 才是 marriage. This is kind of odd. But anyway, that aside, the question I have for you, the next question is, you're saying the Chinese joint, the private equity and your U.S. parent will still stay in, and then both of them will jointly run this new company, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, a simpler question for you is, with this Terminix China, if if you have 10 or 12 JV partners, when you want to execute a specific strategy, do you guys take a vote to say yes, no, and then the majority rules, or some of the JV may say, I don't want to execute that specific part of the plan. Do they have the option?
Actually, we have decided we'll take the decisions, the joint decisions, into two categories. The first category is a must-do for everybody. So if you want to be in the game, if you want to stay in the game, then you almost like have to obey the group consensus. One example is that from day one we have the meeting and we say, look, we're not going to steal customers from each other, and we're not going to steal employees from each other, and that is like unanimous consent, and everybody agrees to it, and that's a joint decision. The second category is something we'll call it like coordination. For instance, we'll say, look, the group headquarters also talks to some potential customers, and then we bring in customer orders. So we basically allocate those orders to our subsidiary companies, so that they can serve those customers, and that count into their revenue base, which will eventually boost their valuation for the second and third purchase. So that's a good thing for them. However, they have to kind of like train their service team, and they have to adapt to our SOPs. They have to learn how to use our systems, our IT tools, and then they would basically accept our guidance and also quality control. So for some companies, that's no problem, but for some other companies, that means actually quite a lot of work. So we made it clear that, now, look, it's a choice. It's a good thing for you, but you just have to say whether you want to do it or not. It's okay if you say, that's too much trouble for me, thank you, but I'm not, but I will opt out. That's fine. But for the other people, if you say, that's great, I want in, that's fantastic.
Interesting, Adam, because it reminds me of the franchise model, because in the retail fast food, the franchisees, they have to follow certain guidelines on uniform food and all the rest of it. But on pricing, promotions, some other things, they have a choice to opt in or opt out. So the fact that you your company chose City Capital Partners, that's good, because City Capital is the owner of McDonald's. So I fully understand. Okay, the next question is for Laura. Now, Laura, you have moved from so many different industries. You have been FMCG, software, gaming, real estate, cruise liner, and consulting, high tech. Now, in HR-related activities, with all these different type of industries, what type of, most of the HR functions may be the same. Are there some specific HR activities may be different for specific industries? Can you give us a couple examples?
Across all different industries or different companies, including Chinese local company or overseas multinational companies. The common things are very, very similar. It's about people, but different things that about the job skill set. So you are having different people with different job skill set. I think comparing a multinational company and Chinese local firms, the biggest difference will be the decision-making process will be different. So if you work for multinational companies, you have more system you have resources and platform you can leverage from global, right? For local Chinese firms that we are the owner, so everything moves very fast, but we have to beat the competitions. So as a HR, I think the common part is the share we all the industries we share the same. Select the best talent for the business in terms of capability and as well as the skill set, and help them grow and help them to meet the business requirement.
Well, Laura, I have a second question to follow, but you actually answered both questions in the same question. So, the next one is for everyone. For all of you, you have different jobs over your career. Which ones would you consider to be the most challenging or interesting? Anyone care to answer? Maybe we'll start with Sheldon, huh?
Most challenging.
Or interesting. You can choose any words that.
Yeah, always the next one. Okay, it's a joke. Yeah, most challenging. It's you in a scenario that you have to change, right? You have to change your business model. You have to change the business area, but you don't know how to really make things happen, right? So you kind of have to you sail a boat, right? On the sea, over the uncharted water territories. So that's the most challenging things.
Okay. Anybody else care to take a shot at it? Laura, yeah, I have to.
I think every job experience there was challenging part. There was also exciting part. So
Adam.
Hi. For me, I would say it's my job as a sales operation director for the consumer business of Lenovo North America. You see, Lenovo or IBM PC didn't have any consumer business at that time. So we are actually bringing the know-how and experience from the China business and try to really kick off a business in North America. But we have to work with our colleagues from the previous IBM PC division. So there was just tons of culture conflict, and I think that we used to just get things done, and the IBM way is to follow the book. And I think we used to have a joke that the IBM people will have a SOP procedure. Say if they, go to the bathroom, do they, enter the room with the left leg first or the right leg first? So it was a quite interesting experience, and but eventually the result has been quite satisfactory.
Okay, thank you. Now, Sampong, I didn't forget you. Actually, the most interesting question is really for you. You were trained as a coroner, which is 验尸官. 如果
A lot of you don't understand the word.
Yeah. So
I almost forgot it.
Yeah, that's right. Very poetic. Now, the question really is, how do you convince the Oxford Instruments that you're the right guy for the general manager position, converting from forensic doctor to general management?
That is a good question. I passed almost like 4 tests, like the resume
interviews,
and
yeah.
the
Four
questionnaires
interviews.
and the 2 interviews, totally 4 steps, and with 300 candidates competed for this job. So it's a long journey, half a year, and I did a lot of research, almost like I did a PhD thesis. I studied a lot and I prepared a lot of material, include a 40-page PPT slides. It's a very interesting process. That's a good question.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, the next question really is, what convinced you to join ATT? A Chinese privately owned company, tech company, and it's in a sensitive semiconductor industry.
Yeah, there are 2 reasons. One is I want to join the semiconductor industry. I think that is a good industry with a good future. Even other business are not so good, but the semiconductor industry is rising because everything need chips. We're dicing chips, so that's the main reason. The good industry. Secondly, is this company acquired a Israeli company and with branches across the many countries. So I'm in charge of the whole world. That's something you just asked the question, which job is the most challenging? I always find a more challenging job, and this one should be my most challenging job.
Yeah,
Because
you
we
answered the
have
same
to
question
take
like
all the
that.
functions. Yeah.
That's the same way Sheldon answered the question. Now, the next question still for you is that I assume you don't have the time to travel to Israel since you just joined a company in February this year.
You're right.
How do you manage effectively remotely? And then what works for you and what didn't work quite as well?
I think I use a very rational way to manage people, manage business. So this works very well when I deal with the Jews, the Israeli people. They are very rational in this way, not so emotional. So this part of my job is doing very well. Something not doing well is because I cannot travel there. I cannot have face-to-face a meeting with them. I don't know the differences between them because when they present to me, they're almost like identical, but I know they are totally different, each one with each other. Yeah.
You basically delegate.
Yeah, basically delegate. That's it. I have to delegate because I cannot go there for the moment.
Now, before I ask the next question, actually, Fang Peng, in addition to be the general manager, for all these years, he also is a teacher, lecturer, and he does other things. So if I look at this, I see Laura, Peng, and Sheldon. They all have multitasking because Laura is also volunteering for Jiao Tong University, I think, for helping
Fudan University.
Fudan University for the students to find jobs. So
No, I'm a interviewer helping Fudan University selecting their MBA candidates.
Okay, all right. So all of you have important jobs, but you also have side jobs or you multi roles. How do you manage all these roles, and how do you?
For me, it's very simple because I only interview for a few days along the whole year. So I only need to apply annual leave days. That's very simple.
Okay. Fang Peng.
I think I also use delegate my most of job to others. I set up systems rather than I do everything by myself. So first thing is to set up systems and make almost like responsibility and performance and bonus, all the schemes. Then I can go to holiday, as I said last time.
Sheldon, how about you? You go to holidays too?
To be honest, I mostly I don't have holidays because I have you know, my aging mother, who is in 90 plus, I have to take care of her from time to time. So I normally don't take holidays. But I still have time for non-business works. Because, you know, on the business front, I basically, you know, have two roles. One is as a managing partner for Taplow Leadership Consulting. But fortunately, I have a quite capable team. I trust the team. They are quite, you know, hardworking, and they have quite good initiatives. So I delegate a lot. And on the other hand, I have to be very hands-on in conducting my Vistage, you know, chair group on a regular basis. So that was the thing that I have to pay a lot of attention to. But I still can, you know, schedule my time on very well planned basis. So I, in this case, I break my time into several different, you know, categories, and I, from my perspective, I can manage, you know, both things quite well. So then I have to take care of my non-business, you know, activities.
Well, I guess Sheldon, just make sure that you allocate some time to find a better way to monetize your online business, right? Remember that? That's a work in progress, right?
Right, right.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm getting the questions from the online audience. Now, the first one is from an ATTA member. And the question is, what type of digital and technical skills are needed for the future of work? This one is a little further afield, but I thought it was interesting. So what type of digital and technical skills are needed for the future of work? Anybody want to take a shot?
Digital.
Yes, Sheldon.
Yeah. So the question is about how to handle the challenges, right, on the digital technology side.
Yeah, the digital and technical skills. Yeah, right.
Right. And, you know, going digital is a kind of must be, you know, scenario. The key is that we have to, you know, be attentive to the applications of new technologies. That's number one. Number two, in the business areas, can we really find something which can help our business, you know, transforming or further developing? Based on my personal experience, because I have some group of members who are, you know, CEOs of some local businesses and multinational companies. And those business leaders, they, you know, always keep in mind the technology ahead always will be, you know, the torchlight ahead. They have to look at that. And in the you know, scenario that one industry faces tough challenge, that their traditional business may you know, face the challenge of you know, the new or the new technologies would give them, you know, little space if they keep their old production or technical methods. So they have to adapt to themselves from time to time, and they also have to look at the direction where they have to invest for the next generation. So this is a kind of the things that all business leaders they have to watch out, and they have to take action. Not only we as corporate executives, but all the business leaders they have to look at the future and take steps to move forward.
Adam, do you have anything to add, or?
Well, I can only speak from the perspective of small to medium-sized service companies. I think there are two IT trends I can see important to these companies going forward. The first is how to build and leverage ERP or similar systems to manage their business operation. Small companies usually they don't have any IT systems. They probably do things by hand, maybe Excel, Microsoft Excel at the most. But actually, a good software system can dramatically improve their efficiency and the accuracy of the business operation. But I see that more as a management issue rather than an IT issue. It's how the business owners they got to transform the way they manage their business. The second trend is really how to apply the automation or the so-called smart equipment, because part of the issue with the service industry is service industry means labor, a lot of people. So going forward, I can see at least part of those service work can be replaced by smart equipment, and that's going to really shake the whole industry. That's going to be a game changer. But again, many companies owners see this trend, but they either don't have enough resources to really do anything, or they don't have the good mindset to do it effectively. Therefore, for the service industry, I think ERP type of management system and the investment in automation and the smart equipment will be too critical.
Thank you. Anybody else want to add to this one before I move to the next question? Okay, next question is also from an ATTA member. What values or learning did you get from your corporate experiences that help you to pivot into your new career choices or new career journey? Let me repeat. What values or learnings did you get from your corporate background that help you pivot to the new career choices, new career journey?
Let me share first. Last year when we encountered the pandemic, so I was, as commented by my ex-colleagues, they said that I'm very brave and courageous. So what I learned from the corporate experience before that, I've encountered many different industries, and I've been working for different companies. And I know what is needed for a company to turn around or to transform from the HR perspective. So I was very confident that I joined a new company. I can support the team, support the management team, and help the employees to achieve what they want. So that is what I learned. And it made me very confident in terms of exploring the new adventures. Okay. Mm.
Anyone else? Okay.
So I would add
Yes.
that one thing I learned from my corporate job is it's just you would have to rely on many other people to achieve what you want. So getting the support and build up your influence and make people follow and in a creative vision. So that's what I learned from my corporate job, and I found it still useful in my current job.
Anybody else wants to share? All right. Okay, I'll move to the next question. What advice would you give to professionals who are thinking of moving into a new career journey, such as doing things over on their own or moving away from corporate life? It's a good question. Anybody want to answer it?
TT, do you mean that for advice for the people who are great and then to start up their own business? Are you asking this question?
Yes, that is the question. Yes.
Okay, that was me last year.
So then you can offer some. You have some logical steps already laid out to say what are the things that you are thinking about and making the choices. Although in a way you did move up away from corporate, but you joined a new startup soon after that. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anybody else offer a choice? Since well, I guess Adam, you made a difficult choice moving from manufacturing industries, agriculture business into a service industry without control. So what
Yeah,
advice?
I would say don't underestimate the risks. There's just so many things can go wrong, and you know, if something may go wrong, and then eventually something will go wrong. So I would say if you're in your early stage of your career life, you're in your 30s, then just go and try it, because you know what's the worst thing can happen, right? At least you got the experience. Once you get to 40s, especially after 45, you got to be very careful, and you only take calculated risk, because you know you got a whole family to support. And also the second thing is really it's you know it's important to pick the battleground. You know, it's much easier to succeed in a growing industry where everybody is making a lot of money. It is much more difficult if you have to squeeze, some cost margins from a very tight operation. So that would be my takeaway. We the spin-off of the China business is not an easy thing to deal with, but it turns out to be okay because we do manage our business well. So I can see that in the future there will be more and more cases like this, and China business got separated from the global operation. Maybe it gets supported by some private equity funds, but I think many of such projects will succeed.
Okay. If our company is being transformed, how can we better prepare for our future? Similar question, but a little more focused. So if the company is being transformed, how do we better prepare ourselves, either staying or moving out? How do we do that?
Lola had a good experience in that
Yeah,
respect.
I think this is a topic that HR help the leadership team educate the employees frequently or from time to time. So when the employee was facing change, so the employee needs to kind of do some analysis. If the change will help the company to become a better stage, or help the company become a greater company, then it is the positive change, right? So for employee, if this is also aligned with your career goal, then the employee should take proactive approach to adapt into the change and embrace the change. So that is the key. But if the employee doesn't think that the company's change aligned with his personal career or personal interest, then the employee probably will think of to make a choice to leave the company. So that I think it is this kind of this is the life. Yeah.
Well, Laura, just to follow up on your line of thinking, do you in your case you are very brave. You say I set up my own company. Do you advise other people who made a choice to say this doesn't work, to move on right away or find a job before they move on?
Anyhow, HR will provide advice, suggestions, but the employee or the manager, they are in charge of their own career, own life. So finally it is his or her choice. Yeah.
Zhang, when we talked about this, you have some very interesting way of looking at this kind of issue of.
Yeah, I think my
you prepare?
suggestion is because I'm always trying to find a more challenging job. So it's usually the opposite. Is the company does not want to change, I want to change. So that's why I have to leave the company and find a company with more challenging job. It's not a company want the transformation and I need to follow. It's I wanted the transformation, but the company does not want. So I don't have the
that
other
is
side of experience.
that aligns with what I said, that if you find your career interest is different with the movement or direction of the companies, then make a change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question, I'm gonna be more lighthearted on this one. This is from online. When you make a major change in your career, such as moving to a different industries, private equity, do you discuss the move with your family? And if yes, what is the best practice? Or you don't? Yeah. Right.
Usually I don't, because I don't have anybody to talk with. Usually I make my own decision.
And that's your best practices.
I think so. So far, they're too far away from my understanding. I think experience is also different.
So Jumper, you mean that you are still single, or do you mean
Yeah,
what do you
married,
mean?
but my family members they can too
Cannot
far away
understand
from the
you.
business area.
I see.
Business
I see.
and
Yeah.
Laura, how about you?
When I was young, I think the first move was from Unilever to Microsoft, right? At that time, I was 27. Yeah, I asked my husband whether, because it was my first time to do a change from a great company to another unknown great company. And my husband told me that, no worry, if you become jobless, I can afford you. And later on, for every job moves, I inform my family.
You just tell them, okay, all right.
I just inform my family.
You just let them know you've made
Yeah,
decision.
just let them know.
How about Sheldon?
Yeah, and I haven't changed job for nearly 19 years. And previously, it was my call. You know, because my wife was a university teacher. She didn't care for my business, so I made my own decision.
Okay, Adam, your turn.
Yeah, I think previously it's my own decision, but until the recent one, I did discuss it with my wife. But my wife basically said, "Yeah, that sounds much more interesting. You know, you know, uh, pest control is definitely more interesting than animal feed. So just go ahead."
Well, actually, I would share mine because I think I may have better practices than you guys. No, when I was younger, my choices I definitely discussed with my wife, and then talk about it. Of course, the major decision is mine, but I do share with her. And when I took early retirement from Avery, then there's a sea change because I basically said I'm not going to work on the regular jobs again. So what I did is I prepared a spreadsheet of my family wealth. I explained to her that if I don't work, our family will be in good shape. And she also said she wants to leave some money for the kids and the grandkids. I said, with our current lifestyle, even if I don't work at all and make no money, we'd be fine too. Then she said, okay, then do whatever you want to do. So
Okay, the bottom
so
line is
therefore, and then
deal.
also we have a pact. When I said when I can't make money, I'm just spending money, let's say I'm in China, then I'll quit. And she's fine with that. So I think that's the best practice and all the way through. And then for the last 14 years, it worked out pretty well. So that question I answer for myself. Okay. Now, more serious question. When you move from industry to industry, how do you impact your long-term career goals, if any, or do you adjust your long-term goals from time to time? Should I repeat the question one more time? How does moving from industry to industry impacts on long-term career goals? Or you may just adjust it from time to time?
Okay, I go first. Very interestingly, I want to share with you that, as you know, the HR always helping others to create a career plan, right? There is a kind of a career development, personal goal, etc. However, for me, myself, I have never given myself a career plan. So I simply follow my heart and do what I want. And I think it relates to people's personality. Just like Zhang Peng, if I found that this place, there was nothing new, there was nothing challenging, there was nothing that I can learn, I will feel boring, and then I will make a change. And then gradually, I become what I am right now. So this is what
Well, this is a topic that I guess I can raise because this basically said you have in my mind, you have a strong sense of curiosity. You are intrigued by new challenges all the time. You want to do something new. If things gets boring or doesn't fit what you wanted to do, you move on to the next challenge. And I find, I think in the group in general, they have the curiosity, continue to explore new challenges is a very strong trait for people who continue to move to different challenges. Anybody else?
Okay, let me try. I think I
Okay.
don't have a very definite long-term goals for my life. I always find something more interesting. I cannot plan when I was a child a long time for 80 or 60 years, a long time ago. I don't think that is possible for me. If I try something which with my effort, I can try to get it. I think that is a goal. When I achieve that, maybe I'll find something different. That's my long-term goal.
Wait a minute, Zhang Peng, you in forensic doctor for 10 years. How interesting could that be? I mean,
More than 10 years.
yeah, no,
10 years,
exactly.
just exactly 10 years, 8 years in China and 2 years in Scotland. So I get familiar with all the kind of bodies, including foreigners, Chinese, Westerners, Chinese. They get boring. Get boring. Need
I
something.
think what Zhang Peng and I we shared is that we looking at our career, we are quite like we are climbing a mountain. And then once we are on the mountain, if there is no higher mountain, we are looking for a higher mountain. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Then I'll move on to the next question. When business owner decide to transform his business model or focus, what is the best way to prepare his managers and employees for the pending transformation? This is online. Do you mean to repeat the question? Basically, when business owners decide to transform his business model or focus, what is the best way to prepare his managers and employees for the pending transformation?
I think I did a lot when I changed the company from small one to big one, from only sales organization to with more other functions, manufacturing, R&D. I think I will try to use this as an opportunity for others rather than a challenge. If I tell everybody now there is a bigger opportunities, we can get a lot from these opportunities.
All
it's
right.
much easier.
Any other advice?
Well, my advice is to provide an answer to why. You got to explain to people, and it's better for them to buy in, and they follow and they support the transformation. And sometimes we say it's a burning platform. That's a huge problem that we just have to change to deal with that. Sometimes we say that's big opportunity, and it will be what a shame if we miss it. But whatever we position it, we got to mobilize the force and make people follow.
Anybody else?
Yeah, TT, I think seems the majority of the questions are kind of HR questions. So for this part, HR we are very familiar. So whenever there is a change or transformations or business focus change, very importantly is that the senior leadership team should have discussion with the first line. Let's say not first line, the L1 leadership team. So the first step is to get alignment among the leadership team and everybody on the same page. And then there should be communication. Just like Adam said that the leadership team, they need to explain why and the benefit for this change and get everybody agree and aligned. And then the company can move on the change. Otherwise, there will be a lot of uncertainty, chaos, or doubt, so suspicious, etc. So communication is the key.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, you missed one point of the process, because actually I heard this. So actually, if you want to transform, first you gotta get a strong HR VP like Laura. Then you can, right?
And good HR as experienced as Laura.
Yes, exactly. So, all right, and then the next question. This Now, how can business owners make sure that the path of transformation are consistent with the longer term corporate goals and culture? If not, what does he do? Question get a little deeper.
Can you say that again?
Now, how can business owners path of transformation are consistent with the longer term corporate goal and culture? And if not, what does he do? For example, if you transfer your business, that could be not consistent with what your longer term goal you've been saying to your managers, executives for the last 10 years. So what do you do? Or if it is not quite there, do you modify it? I mean, how do you do this? Or you just do the transformation and then try to figure out the longer term goal later? I guess that was the way, the question I understand it.
And the question was asking, how can the business managers be sure? So
No. Yeah, that's the owner. The owner. The owner.
So it will be a
owns the
question
company.
that the business owner should answer. So Zhang Peng or Adam, you should.
That's very good, Laura.
I think, sorry,
you go ahead.
Adam, you go.
You go ahead.
Okay, my understanding is if the boss want to do some transformation, then there must be some opportunities, business opportunities. To still follow the basic business logic. If this opportunity can make more money, why not? Then if we can make more money, then everybody should also follow this, because everybody can have more cake, share of the cake. So it's, for me, it's very simple logic. So if I think there is a big opportunity and the company needs to make changes, and then the long-term goal is also make money and also follow the changes, then people should follow this direction. This is my input. Adam, please.
Oh, thank you. To be honest, I'm a little bit, you really puzzled by the question, because you design the parts of transformation based on where you want to go eventually. That's your long-term corporate goal, right? And the transformation is not an easy game, so you need to really carefully control the process. So the two should be consistent with each other if you manage it well.
It may not be, because remember, if you have a long-term goal 10 years ago, and you undergo through a transformation now, is because maybe the old way of doing things doesn't work. So you may have to adjust your long-term goal afterwards, if that's the case, or you want to adjust concurrently. I think that was the way I'd read it.
Okay. Yeah. So really, the way I look at it is, if you have to do a major transformation, it's very likely that you will have a new long-term goal already.
Yeah, and then you adjust it. It depends on, certain industries move very fast. They'll do the transformation and they adjust their corporate goals, long-term goals afterwards. Certain other companies, they can afford to be more deliberate and they can adjust the long-term goal. So there's more consistency when they communicate with the managers and employees, like Laura, the HR, is going to do. Okay.
Yeah, there's probably in some situations, I would imagine the transformation is not about the business goal. It's rather, technology or management system. It's like, we stopped using voicemails, and now, from today on, it's all about emails, something like that. Unless we're talking about a situation like this.
Okay, there's another related question in terms of how does it affect the corporate culture, but I guess we're done enough. Are there any questions that you have for each other that I didn't ask? You feel free to ask your fellow panelists. Any questions? If not, I guess I'll thank all the speakers and panelists for a very interesting evening, and I hope that our journeys discussed and the questions answered will be helpful to the online audience who listened in on us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
TT.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.